Hi, Patreon backers. Here's another private video. Corey and I needed another quick little scrum to help me decide what to do next. I just finished the progress video in Construct 2 for the day on my own. Usually, Corey takes part in making those videos too, not only to learn more about Construct, but to just keep the video more lively and keep me on track when I'm typically exhausted and making silly mistakes while I'm coding. But in this case, since we're in a really pretty strict self-inflicted crunch time, it made a lot more sense for Corey to be able to do his own thing and work on the graphics end of thing while I handle the scripting thing myself. But now that that part is done, there is the issue. I have a little more energy left in me before I need to go to sleep, and it would be good to at least rough in a little more graphics. So I wanted to talk to Corey about just have him help me decide what the best thing I should do is. And I also did want to talk to him about this idea I just had that I had spoken with, and now I'm speaking to Corey suddenly and not the viewers. Hey, Corey.
Hey.
By the way, Corey's with me here. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
But anyway, I've been speaking to another skilled programmer in the Amiga community, and he's itching for projects, and he wants nice small projects instead of big ones that can span years. He wants nice small things that he can set to do and then get that nice sense of accomplishment for finishing it within like weeks or months instead of years. And I suggested to him that one thing that would be really helpful to my projects and to the Amiga community at large would be tools or example code or plugins that can help everyone that's working on projects just make their projects better, a little easier. And one of those things is spriter support built into Amos, so it would be an extension or example code that allows you to actually play back a spriter prototype data as animations in Amos, which would be perfect for bosses. And so that's the other thing. I really think we should use the real modern version of spriter, but use it as though we're using, like with all keyframes, instead of tweened.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In pixel art mode, just as we were doing to a large degree for Cyberjack, which is another game project we're working on that we have on the back burner until this project is done. So that's what I'm going to suggest, is I can pick one of the bosses also and start roughing in the actual boss animations for one of the bosses, but just with really loose, unpolished art, so we can perfect the size and start doing the actual boss fight code for one of the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, what boss should I start doing? Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it would be like whichever one might take I don't want to say the least effort, but
right.
Have the simplest behavior, to start off with. I'm not sure, though. We had that conversation. I'm not sure which one would.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I have a feeling ultimately it might be the swamp thing that only pops his head out and has the tentacles.
Yeah.
But since the swamp isn't designed, and I really want you to do most of the swamp design right from the ground up, no pun intended. I mean, that's kind of literal. I didn't mean it that way. I think actually it makes sense for me to just continue with this environment that I'm already mocking up and these enemies that I'm already working on, for me to just continue with this theme, and I'll rough in the bridge that we were talking about in the last private video, and then the throne room, and then just start working on the design and the spriter file for this big gargoyle boss. And I'll make it just like I'm using the prototype of spriter, like I said, but with modern spriter and pixel art mode. And I'm just going to go based on the idea to figure out his size. That in the actual Amos version of the game, it looks like we can have about 4 enemies on screen and keep a good frame rate.
Okay.
So basically, I'll try to keep that in mind, that overall amount of blitting, which is pixel drawing. So I'll just sort of use that as a general rough idea of how big I can make the character. And ideally, theoretically, if a good programmer makes an extension to Amos that animates the Amos boss, that would hopefully be faster than having 4 separate bobs that are keeping track of more things, as opposed to just a routine that says, okay, I'm going to grab this image from the memory bank and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to grab this one and paste it here. Like, it might be faster to have a big Amos boss with the same number of pixels drawn than it is to have Amos just create it out of its own natural or built-in bob or features. So, but yeah, that's the general thinking. So I think that's what I'll do is I will start with the environment stuff really quickly, just really rough sketch out the bridge. I still want you to do all the cleanup and finalizing the design, just interpreting what I've done and taking it wherever you want and adding all the detail you want. And then the same thing with the bridge. But this way I can establish the overall size of the throne room for this. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, I'm getting confused now. Okay, so that's what it is. So there's this isn't a throne room, this is just another cave compartment with the big gargoyle, and then you beat that, and then a door opens up to the bridge.
Yeah,
and
so
the stairway.
it would be, I mean, we're going to need sort of the unique, more closed-in setting.
Cave, right, exactly.
Fight.
Yeah.
You know, any of those that you want to do ever, or rough in or anything, is always fine too.
Yep.
But yeah, if you just want to do this one, and then I guess the very final boss area we could save for later. But,
right. I feel like saving that for last, because at that point we'll really be sort of in the groove. We'll know what we're doing, and we'll have raised the bar by doing the other ones. So I'm all for that too. And yeah, like that. So I'll stick with this one for now, the cave. And I just realized I don't need to do the bridge or the throne room for today. Actually, I just need to rough in a closed off section of cave for the boss fight, and then the boss itself. So that'll save me some time. So I'll at least have like a placeholder, really rough design of the big gargoyle boss, and like some kind of really basic idle animation. That's going to be my goal. And then I'll have established the overall size and look. I mean, I really think I'm just literally going to extend a screen to like a screen and a half. This is already like a screen and a quarter or a screen and a third, I don't know. But just literally create like a closed off wall at the end out of tiles. And probably both ends, and then have it do that thing where like maybe create a gate, an animated gate that just closes behind you, like slam shut. Yeah. And then that'd be cool. Yeah,
and that's something to consider too, is for the other bosses on the other levels, like, do we always want some sort of thing that closes? I mean, like because all the environments are going to be different in different places.
Yeah.
And it's something to consider.
Yeah.
Like what we want to make that look like in each level.
Yeah, I mean, if we can't think of anything else at any time, we can always do the magic barrier that appears. That's really common. I mean, it's kind of cheap in that it's not necessarily directly sensible part of the plot, but we can always, in a version 2 of the game, we can always make a cool specific scene, like this gate coming down. Maybe it can be an avalanche, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's different creative ways to
Yeah, so, in fact,
might be more complex.
In fact, that's actually a great idea. So imagine if the throne room has the gate come down and close you in, but this one has, since the whole idea of this gargoyle enemy is, I'm glad we're recording this on a video. It's a good idea, just in case I forget tomorrow. But yeah, so the idea, because it's a big gargoyle that we said could jump up and stick to the ceiling and fight upside down as well, and like throw stalactites down at you. Imagine if when you enter, that's like the introduction of the boss, is a stalactite comes flying down and sticks right into the floor, blocking the door.
Yeah.
And then he could drop down, you know, from over here, and the fight can start. And then after that I'll come up with some kind of excuse for maybe it'll just be even a canned cinematic where after the fight you notice, like, maybe we'll make it shine, or somehow show people that maybe, I don't know, maybe even some light is shining out of a crack in this wall or something, and the player can walk up to it and bash it and like shatter an opening or something.
Yeah, it could be that, like, maybe
Ooh, I got it.
Maybe
Okay.
something during the fight weakens that wall. You
Right.
know, like,
Yeah, that's the first thought I had. This is what I'm thinking now. So imagine you walk in, and this is like canned. You can't do anything yet.
yeah.
And the first stalactite to come down comes down and blocks this, what would be your progress. And then another one comes down and blocks your potential escape, and then the
You could
guardrail
even
drops
script
down.
it so that, like, when you get close to that wall, it comes down, and then you have no choice but to walk the other direction.
Right.
And when you get closer to that other side, the other one comes down. Like, so it's like the player still has a little control during that moment, and they're like, oh crap.
Yeah,
like,
that's a really cool idea. I love that. I love still having you the control, so you're actually experiencing the surprise and the being
closed,
being redirected. That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. You're going to walk in, and there's going to be nothing going on. But once you get to like right around the halfway point, or a tiny bit, like pretty close, this will slam shut. And then I'll probably make it so if you walk back a certain degree or after a certain amount of time, it'll slam shut on the other side. And then
that way people don't like spend 20 minutes trying, like, you know, on that other side of the room trying to figure out what to do.
I could even make logic that after a certain amount of time, if the player isn't over here, like we could potentially make him like hop backwards as the enemy is falling down here, so he's like hopping out of the way, like he, you know what I mean, like he sensed the enemy up there and he got out of the way, and then, you know what I mean, so then it would become a sort of canned cinematic, but it'll only happen that way if you're not already on that side of the room. Yeah,
I mean,
really cool.
you know, and it, we'll see. That is the one issue with, you know, you leave things up to the player sometimes. You know, people might make mistakes.
Yeah, you just got to take care of the contingencies. But as far as I can think right now, he's either going to go back there within a certain amount of time, or like you said, he's like trying to jump up on the stalactite that fell down, or he's going to try to punch it to destroy it. So we don't want him wasting a bunch of time. So, so if the player just doesn't get back to this area of the screen within a certain time, we'll just take over and make them do it. So, but that'll be pretty cool. I like that idea a lot. That way the vast majority of players still really experience it while still having control of the character's body, which is just much more immersive and compelling. So that really cool idea. All right, excellent. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is just really quickly rough in the wall, which I'll just do a flipped version. Hell, that'll work. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, that's not going to help you. It's not like you can flip on the fly on the Amiga. I mean, it could save a little bit of disk space for the floppy disk version, because you could just load it in and then flip it and then paste it down. But yeah, so I'll just do the wall, the stalactite sprite, rough it in, and then design the boss and start creating his actual spriter file. And so that's my goal for the rest of the work until we do the update video and then start on the next day's tasks. So, but yeah, that'll be exciting. I mean, by that point, we'll have at least a functioning, if not well choreographed, level 1. Oh, that's right. This isn't the end of level 1, though. But anyway, we're working toward getting... You know,
it doesn't all have to be done in order. I mean,
exactly,
I think the fact that you were already kind of working on this cave, and you made the bat anyway, so it's like, this is all kind of, so I don't, like, it doesn't matter which one we make first, honestly.
I think this one is sort of calling me more than all the others, and a big part of that is I just really want, like I said, like with the Griffin too, like you were doing the Falcons, you're going to redo that environment eventually, so just to make sure all the environments are up to that caliber and all match in rendering style, I want you to be the one eventually to design the Griffin boss. So yeah, I'll just stick with this one. Okay. And since, like you said, this is the latest graphics I was working on, so I'm kind of in the groove for this. So I'll stick with that.
My main goal is going to be getting the basic enemies done for the snow level, which is level 2, and I guess all the rough poses for the Ram Man, and the alternate Ram Man as well that'll throw. And I'm thinking the thing he throws that's explosive could be the exact same thing.
That's the owl, exactly. Exactly.
So there's like a little consistency there, and then I'll probably. One thing I realized is I never did make the alternate Falcon Man.
Right.
You know, which has the shield and everything. So I might
Yeah.
do that before I
Yeah, that's a good one
get to
because
the cleaning up the cave. Yeah,
level
so,
the one level we do have in the game functioning will be a lot more complete with the alternate
right.
Falcon Man
Yeah, we need
showing
to
up
kind of,
later in the level
yeah.
and having that different gameplay, and that'll
So then
really
we'll have
yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and I was gonna say then we'll be at the point where it's like the first two levels will at least have all their basic enemies to where we can get all of those functioning, and then we can get to those bosses
Right.
and handle them individually, and then we will have to eventually have a chat about, like I mentioned before, about just how the levels might be designed and stuff. Of course, we're not quite to that point, but the way we're going to set up waves of enemies and things like that. I mean, there's lots of ways to do it, but yeah, we'll have a think about that too.
Yep.
But
I was just thinking it could be a really nice after version 1.0 of this game. Halfway through the length of the cave for a little while, switching between, like, once these stalagmites and stalactites scroll off the screen, replacing it with a nice 3-color waterfall strip that like with alternating dither pattern, so it's transparent. And
yeah, because you could just swap the color palette and bring in a new type of object. Yeah,
exactly.
I like that.
And that would really create this really nice sense that you've really traveled distance. It would make it way less repetitive with very little additional art as far as production time.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. All right, cool. All right, I think this little update private video is pretty much done. Thanks, as always, so much, patrons, for the support, and thanks for watching.